There must be something nice about this. Everyone's enjoying it, why am I not? And the second time I tried ecstasy and I fell in love. I became a full-blown cocaine addict after that. I tried everything. I didn't know that I was pregnant for 8 months. I carried my baby girl. I didn't stop using drugs. I couldn't. It was just, I was so far gone. At that point, I wished that me and her died. I was tied up and I was spiked with crystal meth, one arm, and heroin in the other arm. I was raped by them many times, over and over, and it became very clear that they were going to sell me out for prostitution. I made a deal with God and I said, either I break my skull or you let me out. It was like the storm, it was so bad. I've never experienced a storm like that since I was born. I knew this is my chance. So my name is Madelein, I'm 44 years old. My first encounter with drugs was alcohol at the age of about 14. And there was something about the feeling of the whiskey that I really enjoyed. I drank myself through Technicon. And that's when things started getting really bad, because in the background there was always a compulsive gambling addiction. Always, it's always been there. Because I used to be a blackjack dealer from a very young age for extra pocket money. See, I like the thrills of the wrong things. So gambling, alcohol in Technicon, and then drugs in my early 20s. And the vicious cycle started and everything fell apart. I remember that day very clearly. I never wanted drugs. I tried to smoke weed and I didn't like the high. It made me feel out of control. And I was at a party like where everyone was taking ecstasy and I didn't want it, and my boyfriend at the time was like, it's not such a big deal. You just try it. So I took the pill, but once again I didn't like the feeling that much. But something inside of me said, there must be something nice about this. Everyone's enjoying it, why am I not? So I'm going to try it again. And the second time I tried ecstasy was a year later, and I fell in love. And then I became a full-blown cocaine addict after that. I tried everything because I fell in love with drugs. It felt like I've arrived. I didn't care about anything because I didn't feel that I needed to impress anyone. I felt wanted, I felt accepted. That's also where I met my son's father. It was in a nightclub, so the illusion of love was already created there. So we started using drugs together, obviously, and it was how everything just went down. From having my own company to working for corporate companies, the drug use just kept it. I couldn't let go. It was a part of my life, and I tried to substitute it with like prescription pills. So I'm a full-on prescription pill addict. I'm a garden variety addict. Our relationship was amazing and it was beautiful, but it soon went completely out of it. It became abusive. He's not an abusive man. We became abusive. We became verbally abusive, physically abusive, emotionally abusive. We became financially, emotionally, spiritually, completely bankrupt. I was involved with someone else to get married, so I was running into someone's arms to get away from the drugs. You can't change locations or people. It doesn't help. If you're on drugs, you're on drugs. So after our breakup, I found out that I was pregnant 8 months, but I didn't know that I was pregnant for 8 months. I carried my baby girl. I was on such hardcore drugs at the time that I didn't know that I was carrying a child. Isabella was born a month later, but she was clean and clear from all drugs. And I was forced to give her up for adoption. My family hated it, they just had it with me. They took my son. I had to basically sign him over to my mom. And my mom's an amazing person. All they wanted was to just make sure my boy is safe. Isabella was born in Standerton, and social welfare, everyone jumped in. It was a very traumatic birth for me. I was also very drug induced. I didn't stop using drugs. I couldn't. It was just, I was so far gone. I'm ashamed to say this, but it's the truth that at that point I wish that me and her died. I couldn't imagine having her and then giving her away. When I exited that hospital and when I gave her to the social worker, I was dead. I wanted to die. I found someone on the streets of Standerton, a heroin addict. And I said to him, I've got the money, you get the needles, and you just spark. And he was so far gone, like he thought it was Christmas. So all I did was I sat and I let him spark me. With such copious amounts of heroin that he got scared. And I will never forget this boy's face, never. At some point he said to me, I can't give you any more heroin, you're going to die. And I said to him, look, that's the point, so you just keep on sparking. He got such a fright that he booked himself into rehab. He left me right there with all this heroin. I didn't know how to use the needle. So I got some foil and I smoked it. And some old man found me there in a park, and he took me to his house. And he said to me, I need to sleep there for the night. And it was very clear that he was going to come with a price. So I found sleeping tablets in his medicine cabinet, and I crushed it and I put it in his beer to knock him out so that he don't hurt me. And when he was passed out, I found someone, I remembered a number of my best friend that's in NA, and I said to her, I need help, I'm in trouble. And I went into the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous. I relapsed 1 year later. I got everything back. I got the car, I got a very good job. Ruan was back in my life. My family and I started speaking to each other again. And I did my 1 year share. I got into my car and I drove straight into Windsor. And I brought a bag of coke. I had it. I drove back and I got more, and then I got cat, and then the cycle just started all over again. I went to buy the drugs, and then I didn't come out for 5 days, so they held me hostage. I was tied up and I was spiked with crystal meth, one arm, and heroin in the other arm. So it became very clear that they were going to sell me out for prostitution. I was raped by them many times, over and over, and I tried to get out, but the thing is, Nigerians that park on all the corners, you know, and then when you step out, they just escort you back in. At that point, you think, what just happened? The other day I was 1 year clean, and now I'm lying here, dressed like a prostitute. I hear them negotiating on where they're going to send me, how I'm going to go out, how the money's going to be exchanged. And I see how they're whipping and beating prostitutes in the room next door, and how these girls are begging for their lives, and I'm like, what just happened? That night I said to God, look, it's either I'm going to jump out of this window and you're going to help me break my skull so I can die, or you let me go. So then there was a storm that just broke loose. There was like this storm, it was so bad that the trees went like flat, like this. It was hectic. I've never experienced a storm like that since I was born. The hail was like this big. And I knew this is my chance. So I grabbed one of the phones that were pawned by buyers, and I ran. Once again, the same friend that I phoned when I gave birth to Isabella, the same number that I always remember, and I said, Carmen, you need to come and fetch me. I'm in trouble again. I'm in trouble. And there was like 6 cars ready waiting to come and fetch me from Joburg North. Everyone knew I relapsed, no one knew where I was. So I ran to McDonald's in Krugersdorp, and they didn't want to let me in because I looked so bad. I looked horrible. I was like 20 kilos lighter, my face was falling in. I was bruised. Then at McDonald's they stopped there and they fetched me and they put me in the car, and as they put me in the car, the Nigerians were on the car and they were trying to rip me out of the car. And then the robot was red, and Lillian's like, Carmen, just go, and Carmen's like, we're going to make an accident, we can't. She says, just drive, we'll be okay. And then she just picked my foot, and then we made it. There was cars coming like this. So the final relapse was 2 years later. I started smoking crystal meth and gambling again after making enough money in the corporate business again. I started making money, life started happening again, same old cycles. Then one night I used too much crystal meth, and I phoned a friend of mine to come and help me, a friend. And I said to him, I'm in trouble, you need to come and fetch me, I'm stuck in Windsor, I've just handed my laptop in and I'm in trouble. I'm with dangerous people. These people are going to either hurt me or I'm going to hurt myself. He picked me up, he took me to his house, and he took heroin. He said, I'm not giving you crystal meth, look at the state you're in already. And he spiked me with heroin and everything just went black. I woke up in a hospital 2 days later. A picture of me into my face with a body bag under a bag, and yeah, so, and a report that said dead on arrival. I looked around and there was all these machines going and beep, 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 beep. It was just nurses and I didn't know what was going on, and then I remember everything went black again. And then I woke up in a ward in St. Helen Joseph Hospital, and then this doctor came to me and she said to me, I announced your time of death twice. So I'm all about medical and science, and you need to go figure out what just happened here, because I can't have sleepless nights over my patients. I work with people every day. You were dead on arrival. My boss at the time went and he started Googling places. I didn't know, I was left in hospital. I kept on wanting to discharge myself. I had nothing there, I didn't have clothes, I didn't have a phone, and they just retained me there. So they're like, you're not going anywhere, we're not allowed to let you go. I was ready to just run. And he kept on Googling and Googling, and redemption kept on popping up. And he came to hospital, he said, listen, I spoke to this pastor. And I'm like, oh, just don't bring me in. I can't deal with pastors right now. I'll be honest, that's how I felt. And he's like, this guy says they do things differently there because they don't tell you how sick you are. And I'm like, okay, so now he's got my attention, because in NA they tell you that you've got a physical disease, which gives me all the reason to go and use drugs as much as I like, because I'm so sick. So, why did you do it? Because I'm an addict. Why did you slap your mom off her feet? Because I'm an addict. And then Pastor Pete met me here by the gate, and he cupped my hands and he said to me, he said, oh, I know you don't feel so great, full of guilt and shame and all of that. And I'm like, oh. And there was just something that made me feel safe. So since I've been at Redemption, the reconciliation process with my family members have been reduced to days as opposed to years. When I was in NA, it took me like a year, and then 7 months, and then 2 years after all my relapses to fix things again. When I came here, it happened in days. I saw my son the second weekend that I was here. So the third day of my being here, I spoke to Pastor Pete, and then he phoned my mom and he said, I want to set up a meeting with you and your husband. And as he's phoning, I'm thinking, yeah, all right, whatever, but my dad will never allow that. And my mom said, fine, we'll see you, when are you coming? So that next week, Tuesday, we went through, and Pastor Pete sat with my mom and my dad, and then he allowed us into the house. That's not like him. So from wanting to die before I came in here, and from coming in here kicking and screaming, and really not wanting to do this whole rehab thing again, everything's changed. For the first time ever, I now know that I can fulfill my purpose according to the values and morals that's been implanted in me by Jesus. Because he's always been tapping me on the shoulder saying, you're in the wrong place, you're in the wrong place, you're in the wrong place. I want to live and I want to help others. And in the next 5 years, I don't even know. All I know that where I am right now, I'm in the right place. And all I want to do is help other women not to go through what I've been through. Because that's where drugs take you. And the spiritual void now is being filled. Because now I'm in line with Christ. I mean, there was a revelation to me of what happened in that hospital. Jesus was there.